Because he has such a huge frame, because his body wants to grow muscle so much, Urs is in a position where he's legitimately looking more aesthetic at 260 pounds than at 225, 35 pounds of, well, seemingly just muscle gain because his leanness is roughly the same. That's a big deal, and I'm gonna make a prediction. I think Urs is just getting started. He's young, he's in his 20s. He's ultra dedicated, ultra intelligent, ultra competent, and patient. And I think we're seeing Urs at 260 pounds in his first real offseason in forever. I think we're gonna see him on stage at closer to 270 and 280 pounds. You guys, Urs has the potential, in my view, to win the whole thing. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength. And I think I have things about me that people find mediocrely impressive. I'm a human being, so that's debatable. I have a normal head shape, but wait, why does my head look like this? We are here to talk about Mr. Urs Kalecinski, who is a man of the German peoples. He's from Deutschland, so you're gonna hear a lot of my bullshit Euro accent today. And we're gonna take a look at this interesting phenomena that just recently happened to Urs, in which he got so jacked that he couldn't make the classic weight cutoff anymore without suffering excessively, and he looked some of the best he's ever looked in the open bodybuilding division, which means he gained a gazillion trillion pounds. Let's talk about what happened, why it happened, take a look at some of his diet, some of his training, and maybe go out and sort of appreciate the fact that the Autobahn is simultaneously quite safe, not like American city highways, but also is an incredible ability to illustrate real motorsport and the vehicles that drive on it. 3, 2, 1, Urs. All right, folks, we're gonna watch some videos, but they are in the German language. I am fluent in German, sometimes, but let's read the subtitles together just in case.
Ich wechsle in die Open. Wird vielleicht für den einen oder anderen jetzt ein Schock sein, für den anderen wiederum sagt endlich richtige Wahl getroffen. Irgendwo war es dann aber auch der Punkt, wo mein Gewicht, wie ihr alle wisst, nach oben gegangen ist und es immer schwerer war, auch ohne Einsatz von irgendwelchen Geschichten, mein Gewicht eben plus minus 10, 15 Kilo über Stage Weights zu halten.
Yeah. 10 to 15 kilos is 22 to 33 pounds. And these aren't random numbers. 22 to 33 pounds above stage weight is within what we can call sort of shooting distance of actually getting on stage at the weight you want. Because remember, the classic division, classic bodybuilding in the IFBB has height and weight cutoffs. So if you're a certain height, and everyone's a certain height, you have to get below a certain given weight. And what Urs is saying is, after he would do a show, his rebound of just trying to eat at maintenance took him way higher than that highest number for him. And there is such a thing as having too much muscle for a weight class. That's why we have weight classes. And so Urs is up against a very serious consideration here that's a little bit outside of his control, because sometimes the human body just wants to get bigger. You give it a certain amount of drugs, just the regular amount of drugs that pros take. Urs isn't doing anything crazy. The regular amount of food, and based on your genetics, some people just get a lot bigger than others. And some people have the genetics to stay in the classic division, and some people do not. Scott, imagine Ronnie Coleman in his prime taking a shot at classic.
Oh my God.
Like, how the fuck would that work? Like, well, you're
Natural.
265, right? Natural, he'd have a hard time making the cutoff. So that's really the thing, yeah.
Ich kreiere jeden Tag 24/7, versuche ich das beste Bild von mir zu meißeln. Ich sehe mich wie ein Künstler.
Listen, Scott, don't we know another historical German figure that was also an artist back in the day?
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
My history is a little fuzzy there.
Yep. The following joke will only appear on the members section. Folks, there is still more video to come. but a lot of the jokes we say about the German peoples, the YouTube would be upset if we said them in public. So if you want probably some of those jokes, we have a member section. It's got tons of other cool stuff. Give it a click, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and maybe we'll see you in there. Insert joke I can't say right here.
Jesus.
It's for the members, right? Members?
Das könnt ihr euch nicht vorstellen, wenn jeden Tag der Morgen und der Schritt auf die Waage entscheidet, ob ihr gut oder schlecht gelaunt seid. Es egal für euch geworden ist, wie ihr ausseht, sondern eben nur gegen die Waage kämpft, dann ist es schon ziemlich doof, oder?
Yeah, fighting against the scale and no longer fighting against appearance is a weird thing. Because in bodybuilding, you're judged on appearance only, so long as you can make weight. But if you're in the open division, it's just appearance only. Remember, the whole sport is about appearance. And so if you're fighting the scale harder than you are fighting appearance, and your scale weight is changing at the expense of your appearance, it's no good. Myself and Mr. Jared Feather, IFBB Pro, have an insight on Urs's journey. At the last Arnold, the 2025 Arnold Classic, we trained with Urs. He was awesome, by the way. And that video is actually on his channel. Scott, can we get that video to pop up anywhere? Sweet. And we were training with him, and I think one of us said, like, Urs, like, how much do you weigh? And I think he weighed like 275 or so at the time. And I was like, you're kind of lean. And he's like, you want to see something crazy? And I was like, yeah. And this clip will do well. He pulls his shorts up to reveal his glutes. And you guys, real talk, they were faintly but clearly cross-striated. And Jared and I were like, what's your cutoff for classic? And Urs like laughed and rolled his eyes. And we're like, how are you gonna drop like 45 pounds, motherfucker? And he's like, yes, it's a very hard diet, and it's pretty crazy. And Jared and I were like, Urs, why don't you just do open? You have a phenomenal frame. You would crush the shit. I mean, like, you're already that size. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe we've got sort of unfinished business in the classic physique. And this is a time when I think the year before, Urs had taken, I believe, top 3 in classic. And he came in, Scott, I don't know if you saw those pictures of him in the last classic, but his glutes were like inside out. Like,
I think we'll see some of that coming up.
Yeah, just wild leanness. And it's just a phenomenal look. But at some point, yeah, oh my God. Yeah, that's hilarious. We'll get to these pictures in just a sec. But basically, he was ripped and in contention for the title. I mean, top 3 is in contention. And so he didn't want to leave the division, which is totally understandable. But I think what ended up happening to Urs, and I'm just speculating here, I could just DM him and ask, is I think through his offseason, which we were just caught him at the beginning of his offseason, I think he got so big that he was like, this ain't happening. And him and his coach made a pivot, which I think is a super, super smart decision. Now, let's compare these pictures. It is very possible, and happens all the time, that when bodybuilders get bigger, their proportions get thrown off. For Urs, in my assessment, exactly the opposite has happened here. His lats are billowing out further. His arms are notably bigger. His chest is fuller. Scott, look at the difference in quad sweep between those two pictures.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like walking around with a different person's legs. And the smaller your waist, bigger your lats, and bigger your quads, the more of that crazy taper happens. And we see it in Urs. And so because he has such a huge frame, because his body wants to grow muscle so much, Urs is in a position where he's legitimately looking more aesthetic at 260 pounds than at 225, 35 pounds of, well, seemingly just muscle gain because his leanness is roughly the same. Urs is in for some really cool shit, I think. This is just the beginning for Urs, and what a beginning it is. Holy.
Wir fangen an mit Spider Curls, mit Kurzhanteln. Ist tatsächlich meine neue Lieblingsübung geworden. Wenn du weißt, hey, ich spüre da meinen Muskel komplett asozial und kann den dann weghämmern. Und seit ich auch so mit dem Gefühl gehe und auch mit den Sätzen so gehe, wie es passt.
You'll see what Urs is doing here is really super smart. The spider curl is scary because spiders are mean and they bite. That's it. On to the next part of the video. And what Urs is doing is he's realizing that at the bottom position of the spider curl, the resistance is basically 0. At the top position, the resistance is maximum. But he wants to really milk out the entire force curve of the exercise, to be challenged in every component. So when the really hard part at the top starts to hit, he's using his other hand to help that concentric to get the weight up, and then he's controlling the eccentric on the way down. That means he can use a weight that's heavy enough and for reps high enough to challenge the bottom portion, the middle portion, and the top portion. Because if he just went to failure raw, he would be like 5 reps short of failure of the bottom and middle portion actually being challenged at the very top because it's so hard. So he's using that hand assistance is a real smart move to take the spider curl and go from it being a decent exercise to push it into being a very good exercise. And true to his word, the spider curl, especially with one dumbbell, can really allow you to focus on that bicep. I mean, there ain't nothing going on. There's no way you're using your delts. There's no way you're using anything. It's all biceps, which for people that struggle to connect with their biceps especially is a really, really smart move. See him doing the same thing here with a machine curl. Really, really smart because that top end is really tough. You don't want to be limited by it. Help yourself. And then you're going to notice that he doesn't just rock it back to the beginning. He's controlling on the way back down.
Nicht so gut laufen, nutzen, keine neuen PRs zu machen zum Beispiel. Jetzt nicht extrem schwere Gewichte ran zu bewegen, weil es halt sein muss, sondern nehmt euch ein anderes Ziel, setzt euch eine andere Challenge. Ich versuche jetzt die Technik richtig geil zu machen. Ich arbeite mit verlängerten Negativ.
This is a touchy topic. On the one hand, I really prefer what we do with the RP Hypertrophy app, which is you start out in the first microcycle of your mesocycle, the first week of your monthly plan, and you hit some conservative numbers, sets and reps that you can do with a few reps in the tank, and then you increase the weight a little bit each time. The app does it automatically for you, or increase reps and try to hit those PRs every single time. And if you don't, it's probably time for a recovery session. But at Urs's level and at pre-contest for him, he might be in a situation where it's like kind of tough to continue to elevate performance, getting really contest lean. And so if he's feeling a bit off and the heavy weights aren't going to be there for PRs, what he's saying, I think, is don't just abandon ship and be like, well, it just sucked today. Try to set a little PR vibe-wise in a different way. Maybe go for higher reps instead of rep PR. Maybe do more volume. Maybe do a real incredible mind-muscle connection and focus on the muscle. The real thing that grows muscle isn't necessarily hitting PRs, because hitting PRs is evidence of muscle growth. It's not the big cause of muscle growth. The big cause of muscle growth is doing hard sets, and enough of them to stimulate your ability to grow muscle. And so focusing on going hard as is the plan. And if you can't go hard on weights because your ego has trouble handling the fact that you're not as strong today, which is a real thing. It's super depressing to be like, I went hard today and did 2 reps less on everything than last week because I don't have any glycogen left over. That going hard on focus on mind-muscle connection, on reps, on short rest breaks might be just the thing you need psychologically to continue to plow forward. And physically, as long as you're doing multiple hard sets, very focused and intense, like Urs is clearly doing, that might be the winning formula for you. Now, when you're doing these hard sets, you might realize that you're getting very, very tired. And then you have 2 options for how to restore your ability to train hard. One option is you come up to the muscle mommy at the gym. Scott, do we have a clear definition of what a muscle mommy is?
I mean, should we cook one right now?
Let's cook one. A muscle mommy is a woman in her later reproductive years, usually has fakies, filler in her lips, all the saying the right shit, girl, that Botox hitting you just, marron, beautiful, look at you, muy bella. And she's on her absolute swag, and she's kind of jacked, but she's got that femininity about her, and she's in the gym and you know she needs that attention. So you want to come up to the muscle mommy and be like, hey, I heard you're from the Fort Lauderdale area. Scott, how's that as far as pickup lines go?
It's good.
Yeah.
Good. It's real good.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God, I totally am. How did you know? Ha! That's the ideal response. Or, right, and she vibes with you and you maybe get a little Selly number, maybe a little IG handle, and you're like, yeah, hell yeah. And then you're super energized. Or you could invest in a hydration beverage that has the proper combination of electrolytes and fluid volumes and tastes great as well to keep you ultra hydrated through the session to make sure that you never even hit that speed bump. And then when the muscle mommy's like, did you just like finish your workout? You're like, yeah, I did. Fueled by Element. Thank you. Link in description, code in bio or whatever I'm supposed to say. And she's like, but like you never came up and talked to me. And you're like, yeah, well, are you properly assembled aggregate of electrolytes and fluid? She's like, on a technical level, I think all like extant human beings that are biological substrate are those things and many others. And you're like, you're kind of smart. And she's like, what if I am? And you're like, yeah, man, you are. She's like, what are you gonna do about it? Then you're at her crib making out, and before she has to go pick up her kids from school later that day. Element, you guys are awesome. That's an ad read, I guess.
2 weeks out, wie gesagt. Wir gehen jetzt aber von Tag zu Tag.
And okay, what are we looking at?
Yeah, this isn't about what he's saying. This is just to see his macros at 2 weeks out.
Oh yeah, we got some Eiweiß. What's up with the Eiweiß, girl? I think that's German for protein. So his diet is, this is his pre-contest diet for his open debut, right?
Yes.
And he's 2 weeks out, so it's pretty low calories. 326 grams of protein, which is smart. 1.5 grams per pound of body weight per day. A little less than that, which is really good. He is taking in 350-ish grams of carbohydrate, Carbohydraten, yes, and
So
fett,
cool.
fett. I can't. Any amount of German I hear is amazing. Insert joke about hearing German in my ancestral past here. And then around 50 grams of fat. Yeah, fats you just kind of minimize at that point to drive the kcals down. 3,214.55 kilocalories. I love the precision. That's spot on. You know, so for me at roughly 230 pounds, this is pretty close to maintenance. And so for him at roughly 265 pounds at this phase of his diet, this is like a fairly aggressive but very reasonable fat loss phase. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Basically, a fat loss phase can be construed as a maintenance plan for a weight that's substantially lighter than your current weight. And so this passes muster. For me, around 215, pounds or so, 210 to 220 pounds, a similarly robust caloric deficit is generated at something like 2,700 kcals. So 500 kcals less per day for me, but I weigh like 40 or 50 pounds less than he does. Makes perfect sense, at least reference to me and in most other folks that I've seen. So this is spot on. This is exactly what you'd expect. Scott, what do you think his calories were like when he was trying to make the classic cutoff?
I'm very curious to that.
Well, I'll tell you that. It was probably what mine were, like 2,700,
right.
which for a guy with his metabolism, his frame size, his bones, his genetics was probably like, I don't want to be here anymore levels of hunger and energy drain.
Like I'm hungry at 2,700 calories
Right.
and I weigh 80 pounds less than him.
Right.
Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But because you're Irish, we just give you one beer and one potato and you're happy.
It's true. Especially if it's fried.
Mashed potatoes don't work?
No, they're fine.
Somebody fry these things before I get a fucking car bomb in you? Yeah, fucking, I'm Flex Lewis again. My name's Conor McGregor. You cunt, right fucking bastard, eh? Yeah. I know that sounds sort of Scottish and Welsh and Irish mixed together, but isn't it all like Celtic?
There's always a few of them in the comments, like, really?
I heard your fucking accent. You're right wanker, ain't you?
Breakfast of the Champions. 40 Pillen gefühlt. Für die Gesundheit. Fühle mich schon wie ein Opa, aber ich frag mich manchmal auch, Digga, bringt die ganze Scheiße eigentlich was? Also
Ja, was sind denn das für Pillen, Mann?
Ja, so, was haben wir drin? Kurkumin, Astragalus.
We all take a lot of pills. There's stuff you take that grows muscle, like the RP Hypertrophy app has dozens of pre-made workout templates to help you build a plan faster than any other training software allows. But you can customize each plan exactly to your needs by prioritizing and deprioritizing any muscles you like to train, choosing the exact exercises you'd like to use, and customizing the volumes you employ at every single step of the process. If you're looking to bring up lagging muscle groups, look no further than the RP Hypertrophy app. Click on the link in the description of this video to get started. There's stuff you take that grows muscle, like anabolics and growth hormone, insulin, etc. But then there's lots of vitamins and supplements, zinc, magnesium, multivitamins, and a bunch of other stuff you take to kind of minimize the downsides of all these things. And it can be, 10, 20, 30 pills. I take like 10 pills in the morning and like 8 pills at night every day. It's a thing. Because if you're going to do all the other drug stuff, you might as well do the pills that minimize to some extent the negative side effects, for sure. All right, folks, that was really fun. What am I taking away from this video? One, if you feel that your best look is above a certain weight category, that's what you got to do. And for those of you not competing, which is most of us, if you, let's say, told yourself you were going to weigh 160 pounds at the end of this diet, but by about 168 pounds, you are shredded to the bone more than ever. The diet's starting to get really tough. You said you were going to diet for 12 weeks. Now you're on week 13 because you're like, well, I got to hit 160. Think about it this way. If you're just as lean as you wanted to be at 160, at 168, that's the biggest victory of all, because when you're bigger and leaner, that's kind of the best thing. So don't get too attached to body weights. They are very helpful and very important. But sometimes having a goal of body weight is a little bit arbitrary. Another thing is this, train smart and train hard at the same time like Urs. And every time you come into the gym, be it off season, be it pre-contest, be it when you're feeling good, be it when you're feeling not so great, find a way to get in and stimulate the living shit out of your muscles. If you need the RP Hypertrophy app, it's just a click away. It'll help you do all those things. What it won't help you do is find that mental effort to go hard. For that, just watch a bunch of Urs video. He has an amazing YouTube channel, which you should follow him on. And we'll see you in the gym and ever so slightly more German. All right, homies. See you next time. All right, folks, that was really fun. I feel just a little bit more German, if that's a cool thing to say. But if you want to feel substantially more German in a way that you can really tell and other people might too, this video right here might be for you.